These remedies are permissible for a period of time, but they should not be indefinite and should have an end point. What exactly do you think the end point should be? With them lawyers representing black voters in the state saying that the Voting Rights Act addresses this already, since state maps have to redraw their maps every 10 years after a census. And then you had Justice Sonia Sotomayor arguing that race-based maps are always a thing and said, race is a part of redistricting always. Race is always a part of these decisions, and my colleagues are trying to tease it out in this intellectual way that doesn't deal with the fact that race is used to help people. Well, right now, we don't know which way the Supreme Court's going to go. I mean, the impacts here, they could be massive, and that's putting it lightly, real. By removing Section 2, it would heavily limit how powerful the Voting Rights Act is, especially since about 10 years ago, conservative justices struck down another in the long run, killing Section 2, it mean that as much as 30% of the Black Caucus and 11% of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus could lose their districts. And so that, along with what we've been seeing in the news, it doesn't seem like that could be far off. Right? I mean, we've talked about Trump's demands that states redraw their districts in votes in the upcoming midterms, which then, of course, sparks some blue states to do the same in response. Right now, depending on which way this case goes, this could be the push that some states want to make it happen. And actually, with that, North Carolina is now the latest pushing to redraw their map. Also, all these efforts are facing their own lawsuits. So even after this Louisiana case is finished, we might be seeing another fight about congressional districts playing out in the court just before the midterm. While I am personally of the mindset of gerrymandering sucks, I wish no one would do it. It is feeling like more and more we're headed towards this place of gerrymandering is going to need to happen to try to combat gerrymandering happening. Like, it feels like it's all just playing towards an end game. Like, Trump and Abbott, they're doing what they're doing in Texas, and then that kicked off Newsom in California, and of course there's that vote coming up. Personally, I'll say this part's my opinion. I think in regards to that, in California, I think you have to vote yes on Prop 50. It genuinely sucks that we're in this place, but it feels like the only way to not be fighting with your hands tied behind your back. Really, all the high road arguments I've heard against it, they just fall short. There's no honor in letting a bully take your power and try to take away your rights. Extraordinary circumstances require extraordinary actions. And it's a move I hope is temporary towards a path back to something remotely normal. And then there's more we've got to dive into in just a minute, but first let me say, most protein bars, they taste like someone compressed sadness into a record. The Prime bars from Equip Foods, right, today's sponsor, those actually taste like food, the kind you want to eat, not just tolerate because you're hungry and desperate. These bars have sold out twice, but Equip restocked them in full force. Each bar packs 20 grams of pasture-raised protein from grass-fed beef and collagen. There's no whey, no soy, and definitely none of those sketchy fillers that, they sound like failed science experiments. It's a gut health handle, thanks to colostrum, nature's complete food for recovery and immunity. Fats from grass-fed tallow and cocoa butter. Sweetness, dates and honey, which means fuel for your body without sugar crash. And Equip tests every ingredient for pesticides, heavy metals, and microplastics. What you see, it's what you get. I use Prime bars post-workout. A fresh new look today, new branding and packaging that finally matches how good these bars actually taste. Also, just gotta say, if you're a peanut butter lover, they got you covered with the peanut butter Black bars. Hey, what are you waiting for? Get in on this and grab yours by scanning the QR code or heading to equipfoods.com/Phil. Right? Use code Phil for 20% off your first order or 35% off a subscription. But then next up in the news, we've got to talk about Donald Trump in Argentina, because Trump has admitted that Americans will not benefit from his administration's $20 billion bailout for Argentina, aka your tax dollars. But also, he said that the country won't get that money unless his far-right ally, his buddy, current President Javier Milei, is on stage at Trump's inauguration. But back in Argentina, he's not quite as popular these days, because his policies, they've sparked mass protests. His administration's been racked by corruption scandals, and lawmakers have recently voted to overturn his veto. In all this, it's led to his party losing a key provincial election by a landslide last month, and this, it's generally being seen as kind of a bad omen ahead of the national midterm elections coming up on October 26th. Though also, I will say, because I've seen confusion on social media, Milei himself is not actually due to run again until 2027. And also, it's not exactly clear which election Trump is conditioning Americans. It's also unclear the exact details of this $20 billion lifeline, except that it would come in the form of a currency swap with Argentina's central bank. But what's really important to note is that this was seen as something that might provide a political boost for Milei. And the Trump administration has made it very clear, that was one of the aims here. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent describing the deal as a bridge to the election. Also had him saying that he had been in touch with numerous U.S. companies who intend to make substantial substantial foreign direct investments in Argentina's multiple sectors in the event of a positive election outcome. And that it's notable because it's expected that major hedge funds might benefit financially from this bailout. Knows what you know, this is crazy. What a small world we live in. They just so happen to include several that are led by friends of Besson. Though of course he's rejected the idea that enriching his buddies has anything to do with this, right? He earlier said this month,
this trope that we're helping out wealthy Americans with interests down there, couldn't be more false. What we're doing is maintaining a U.S. strategic interest in the Western Hemisphere.
And with that, he also argued that the currency swap that the government plans to offer Argentina does not amount to a bailout, claiming we are not putting money into Argentina. But experts, they push back on that, with, for example, a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics saying they can call it what they want, but it's a bailout. It's a country in crisis. It's running out of dollars, and the U.S. is giving the country dollars. That's a bailout by definition. But then also, you had experts pushing back on the idea that this makes any economic sense at all. For example, one of them is at the University of California, comparing it to actions taken by the Clinton administration to help out Mexico.
Vamos, finden.
Doch Moran.
Yes, Finner.
Stop!